Welcome to the Explainer for the Foundry by Forge College. So today we're taking that newly built, maybe slightly rattling basic bundler queue of yours, and we're going to turn it into a finely tuned, high-performance Web3 engine. Now, if you recall our previous lesson on implementing a basic bundler queue, you know we actually got the thing running, which is great. But as any good mechanic will tell you, just because the engine turns over doesn't mean it's ready for the racetrack, right? So let's dive right into this and really make it purr. Here is our diagnostic blueprint for the day. First, we'll go from just working to working well, then move into metrics and performance profiling. After that, we'll fix those processing bottlenecks, lock down our queue security, and finally, measure the final results to prove our upgrades actually did the trick. All right, part one, from working to working well. Let's diagnose that basic queue. Now, when you're dealing with ERC 4337 bundlers, efficiency is literally everything. But here's the catch. We can't optimize what we can't measure. By tracing a single transaction's lifecycle through the queue using just simple timestamps, we get a really clear baseline latency timeline. Look at the flow. 0 milliseconds, it's enqueued. 50 milliseconds, it's dequeued. Then, boom, a huge jump to 200 milliseconds just for signature validation. And finally, at 320 milliseconds, the RPC is actually submitted. Laying it out like this means we can instantly spot the slow zones that are holding up our throughput. Moving on to Section 2, Metrics and Performance Profiling. It is time to run the diagnostics. To actually fix our engine, we can't just guess which part is busted or rely on our gut intuition. We need to gather hard evidence. We do this using a 4-step optimization loop. Step 1, we warm up the system and establish a baseline using a synthetic load, say 100 to 500 user operations. Step 2, we profile the CPU and I/O to find the real hotspots. Step 3, we apply our targeted fixes. And finally, Step 4, we validate and measure again. It's a highly scientific loop, really. It keeps us from chasing ghosts and lets us isolate exactly what's choking the system. So the key tool we use for Step 2 is the flame graph. If you haven't seen one, a flame graph is basically a visualization of CPU usage over time, and it highlights exactly which functions are burning up the most processing cycles. Using Node.js profiling tools like clinic.js to generate one of these, well, it's exactly like using a thermal imaging camera on your car's engine. You don't have to guess what's overheating. It is literally glowing bright red right in front of you. And when we look at that thermal image, the flame graph typically exposes a few common culprits. We're talking repeated JSON serialization, synchronous disk I/O, synchronous RPC calls, and those really expensive crypto verification loops. Honestly, any single one of these will drag down your mean processing time and completely choke your bundler's throughput. They're the friction in our engine, and we absolutely have to eliminate them. That brings us to Section 3, fixing processing bottlenecks. Let's start swapping out those bad parts. Now that profiling has identified the rattling, overheating parts, let's grab our wrenches and swap them out for some optimized, high-performance components. Moving away from sequential verification, processing signatures one by one, which is basically like waiting in a single file line at the DMV, to bounded parallel verification is easily our biggest upgrade. As we emphasize across our broader development courses at Forge College, using a semaphore library like plimit lets us verify multiple signatures concurrently without completely blowing out our CPU. Another massive fix we can implement: batching RPC requests. If our flame graph showed external network latency as a hotspot, we definitely don't want single, synchronous calls holding up the entire line, kind of like a slow customer at a coffee shop counting out pennies. Batching those requests, or using promise.all, completely resolves that external network latency. It allows operations to clear the queue smoothly and efficiently. Section 4, locking down queue security. Time to install the alarm system? Because let's face it, a fast engine is completely worthless if someone can just walk right up and sabotage it. We absolutely must protect our exposed surface by installing a robust security system right in the queue's critical path. We're talking enforcing API client allow lists, rate limiting our NQ endpoints, and rigorously validating all incoming operation inputs. Think of this setup as our bouncer. By checking API headers against an allow list and using a token bucket rate limiter, we completely prevent bad actors from flooding our queue and taking down the bundler entirely. We are keeping the club exclusive to valid, safe transactions. But we don't just hope the bouncer does a good job, right? We test them. Automated security testing is how we rigorously validate these defenses. We write automated tests that simulate both authorized users and malicious NQ attempts. This ensures that when someone tries to crash the party without a valid API key, our alarms actually trigger and return a 403 forbidden error instead of a 200 success. It's an absolute game changer for your peace of mind. Finally, Section 5, measuring the final results. It is time for the post-tune-up dyno run. So with our optimizations applied and our security super tight, it's time to put the bundler back on the diagnostic machine and examine our final report. Did all of our hard work actually pay off? Well, the data speaks for itself. Our mean processing time dropped from 320 milliseconds down to 210 milliseconds. Our 95th percentile latency plummeted from 980 milliseconds to 540. And our throughput? We saw a solid bump from 45 operations per second up to 58. We achieved a beautiful reduction in processing times and a really noticeable increase in throughput, all without sacrificing an ounce of stability. I want you to notice that specific number, 45%. That's the massive drop in our 95th percentile tail latency. What does that actually mean? It means the absolute worst-case scenario for our users just got nearly twice as fast. Our bundler is no longer just working, it's operating with predictable, high-speed consistency. No more of those long, unpredictable delays that totally frustrate your users. Which brings us to our final thought. How will these massive efficiency gains impact your future Paymaster integration and your cost forecasts? It's a great question, because a highly efficient bundler directly translates into lower transaction costs and much more predictable Paymaster behavior. So keep that question in mind for our next lesson. Until then, make sure you visit forge.college to learn a lot more about this subject and explore our extensive Web3 resources. Happy building, and I will catch you in the next explainer.